has the final say? The final say. Who has the final say? Say who has the final say?
Turn it up. Broadcasting live online.
Who has the final say?
Online, on mobile, soon on TV. This is Star Radio UK, the leading Afro-current radio station in London.
Impossible you do, that is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do.
Welcome.
That is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty. The greater things you do. That is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do.
The impossible you do.
impossible you do. That is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty.
Welcome.
The things you do. That is why you are great.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Impossible you do. That is why you alone. The mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty. The greater things you do. That is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
Impossible you do.
Impossible you do. That is why you alone.
Mighty things you do.
Mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty.
Greater things you
The
do.
greater things you do. That is why you are great.
All the glory.
All the glory and honor to you.
Glory and honor to your name, the King of Kings. Glory and honor to your name, the Lord of Lords. Glory and honor to your name.
are you ready to turn it up?
Welcome.
This is Star Radio UK.
The impossible you do.
Only the best music.
Mighty
Mighty
things,
things you do.
Sit back, relax,
That is why you are mighty. The greater things you do. That is why you are great.
all the glory,
All the glory and honor to you.
the impossible you do.
Impossible you do. That is why you alone.
Mighty,
Mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty.
greater things you do.
Greater things you do. That is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
Your name is higher than other name. Victorious in all your ways. In your name we overcome. You are Lord.
Your name is higher than other names.
Glorious.
Glorious in all your ways. In your name we overcome. You are Lord.
sit back, relax.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Star Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean
Turn it
radio
up.
station in London.
That is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do. That is why you are mighty. The greater things you do. That is why
Broadcasting live online.
all the glory.
Sit back, relax.
Honor to you.
Welcome.
Impossible you do.
Welcome and the impossible he does. Forgive me for my voice. It's been thanks and praises and shout to the Lord for the fact that I'm amongst the living. You know, the month of April has been a glorious month. The month that the best people are born in. The month that you see when God anointed those that are to take over and represent Him. Those guys are born in the month of April, so it's a supernatural month. The month of resurrection, the month of the death and burial and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. What a month! Today happens to be the 30th of April 2023. We're flying like never before, like a spacecraft, like the strike of a lightning. And so the month of April ends today, exactly 11:59, to the glory of God, and He's been faithful to us by keeping us amongst the living. Wherever you are, I want to say thank you and welcome once again to Faith Talk live on Star Radio UK. Today, depending on where you are, is going to be another powerful time. We're thanking God for life, the gift of life. You know, don't joke with life. For the fact that you can breathe and talk, you've been able to sip water, you've been able to see today, you've been able to get out of bed. You know what? You've got to praise Him and give thanks to God for the goodness of God. You know, many are lying on sick beds, some are 6 feet under, but we are 6 feet above, and so we've got every right and everything that is in us have to praise Him. He does impossible things. Maybe you are going through what you're going through. Don't think that it's the end of the road for you. With God in the boat, with Christ in the boat, everything is possible. He does not need a day to change your life, your story. It takes just a second or even less than a second for God to come in. So we thank God for this hour and this moment. He's Lord. And so we've been listening to the sound of Akosia Wusua, another powerful worshiper of God. You can connect with her. Look for her on YouTube and subscribe to her channel. Powerful songs, spirit inspired, anointed. And so as we dive into the topic of the day, my guess is all set. I'm super excited. She's a woman that, you know what, she knows what she's about. Resolute, astute, I'll say anointed for her assignment, and it's going to be another powerful time. And she's all said, but hey, we're streaming live on Twitter. It's our Star Radio UK. On YouTube is our YouTube channel. Look for us on YouTube. That's Star Radio UK. On Facebook, we're streaming live on a couple of pages. KB Bossman Facebook page, Archie Hammond Facebook page, and also Star Radio Global Star Radio fan page as well, and so many pages on the how do you call it, social media. Our time is set and we are all ready to roll. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be swift. We're talking about Ghana politics. Somebody, you're a Christian and you say Faith talking about politics, and so you know what, my guest is all set and ready. She's all ready to for us to discuss the most important when it comes to Ghana. It's so important that we talk about politics. Politics is part of the church. You know, Daniel was a politician. Without him being in politics, the glory of God wouldn't have been seen. So the man that we're going to discuss is getting to the 2024 elections. Things are gearing up and all things are getting, people are putting things together. The political parties are doing what they can do. And so we're going to dive into all that. But hey, let me say that if you receive the link, you know what, do us a big favor. Keep sharing on all social media platforms, and if you receive it by WhatsApp, please keep on sharing as well. Let somebody listen to what we're going to discuss. Is the next it's he the next Messiah? Is he the next Dr. Nkrumah? Is he the next person to change the fortunes of Ghana? And so we'll dive into that. But my guest is a member of the campaign team for the man that we're going to talk about. And so let me welcome once again a very good friend and sister, Marie Amoakwa-Boadu. Marie, you're welcome. Marie, can you hear me? Okay. It looks like Marie cannot hear me, but hey, we'll get the technical team will work to get Marie back on shortly. But then let me say that big thank you to also all our sponsors that have made it possible for us to bring Faith Talk to you. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And so let me say a big thank you to Kerry's Furniture, 2 locations, 2 continents, and you know what, 2 continents and same company delivering very very professional service to all customers, and also partners and clients. And let me say, if you're looking for your next furniture or interior decor, look no further. It's Kerry's Furniture. Kerry's Furniture in Tema Community 25. You'll be able to get hold of them at the Top Oil petrol station, massive building. You can't miss it. That's Kerry's Furniture. And also in Atlanta, Georgia, you can connect with them on social media, on Facebook, and also on Instagram as well. So Kerry's Furniture, KHARIS, and they will be able to give you value for money. And also let me say, CIG Properties is www.cigpropertyuk.com. If you're looking to invest in Africa or in the United Kingdom, look no further, and they'll be able to help you out and make sure value for money. If you're looking to let your property or to sell or to get a mortgage, is CIG Properties, and you can connect or send them a message or give them a call on 0203 916 5588, and I'll give you more information at the end of the program. And Mia Associate is a project management company when it comes to housing or property. If you're looking to build whether residential or commercial, is Mia Associate. From conception to completion, they'll be able to sort you out, and they're based in Ghana, and so they take all the stress off you and build your next holiday or residential home for you. Last but not the least is M&M Associate. I beg your pardon, M&M Concept, amazing graphic designing company. They do all the banners and also book covers, designs. Look no further. Professionals, a global company based in Ghana that can deliver and in the tightest of deadlines, and they'll be able to do just that for you. And so I just want us to enjoy this bit, and we will bounce back shortly with our guest and set the ball rolling. Don't touch that dial. Keep on sharing the link you've received, and let somebody also listen to the news about the big news that is making waves in Ghana. And so we'll bounce back shortly. Let's listen to this piece from Akosia Owusua, and we'll bounce back. Okay, we'll do it there. Okay.
Possible you do, that is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do, that is why you are Lord. The mighty things you do, that is why you are mighty. The greater things you do, that is why you are great. All the glory and honor to you.
The impossible you do,
The impossible you do, that is why you are Lord.
mighty things you do.
Mighty things you do,
Okay, Patrick Casimir.
why you are mighty.
Greater things you do.
Hello? The things you do, that is why you are great.
All the glory.
All the glory and honor to you.
Glory and honor to your name, the King of Kings. Glory and honor to your name, the Lord of Lords.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Welcome.
The impossible you do, that is why you are Lord.
The mighty
Mighty
things.
things you do,
He does the impossible,
that is why you are mighty.
and that sinks in with the topic we're discussing. You know what?
All the glory.
Is it going to be like Donald Trump of Ghana? the impossible becoming possible with the Honorable Kennedy Japan. And the topic is to make Ghana great again. It sounds like Trump. And also, so we're going to be talking about that in a minute. And all set, if you're all set and ready, my guest is also ready and set. And I believe that you are also ready to roll. You know what? I'm excited about this. I can't wait to hear what the Honorable has for us and how things are going to be unfolding. God does the impossible, you know. You never know. He does the impossible. We are all set and ready to roll. That is why He is Lord. The mighty thing God does. That is why He's mighty. That's a song coming to you. That's from Akosia Wusua, the worshipper. Okay, let me go straight to my guest. And let's roll. Okay, good afternoon to you, Marie, and how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, God has been gracious to us, and we are amongst the living. That's the most important thing, and I'm super excited.
Good.
And
we thank God for that.
I believe all is well with you and the family.
All is absolutely great. I'm trying to find us on Facebook, and so I can share to my. Okay, I've found us. I'm sharing to my Facebook page now.
Okay.
That's all. It's all done. It's all done now. Yes.
Awesome.
Righty.
Wonderful. And I believe that the UK part of the Kennedy 2024 are all set and ready to roll or rumble, as they say.
Well, it's still work in progress, which is why we're here.
Okay, amazing. It's going to be very interesting because when the post went out, people were like, "Oh wow, what's happening?" You know, our kind of politics, the Ghana politics, it's like, "Hey, are you a member? Are you this?" I said, "You know what? Wait and till the program unfolds, and we'll see how it goes." I'm not a member. I'm only the host, and we'll see. We'll get information on how things are going to unfold. So, thank you. And my guest, let me introduce once again, is Marie Amoakwa-Boadu, and she is a gender activist and also a member of the New Patriotic Party. And as I said earlier on, she does so much when it comes to women empowerment and also human rights as well. Very vocal on social media and also other platforms, organized platforms, and I believe recently she represented the UK women at the UN Women. I believe she can give a bit more information. So she's well endowed as to when it comes to the African politics and Ghana politics, to be precise, and she is taking sides when it comes to the New Patriotic Party. Is the governing party, if you're new about with regards to Ghana. So the New Patriotic Party, in short, or in the abbreviation, is NPP, is the governing party, is the party in power at the minute, and they are looking to elect a flag bearer who will succeed the current president when his time elapses in somewhere 2025. the 7th of January 2025. So it's more like it's heating up, let me put it that way. The primaries have not taken place yet. They are gearing. It's somewhere in November. So we'll get more information. But we are here to discuss one of my questions, which let me just make it known out there, is that one of my questions is the Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, who has been in Parliament for 23 years. Wow, Asen Central, I believe. Is he the next Donald Trump of Ghana? Is he going to surprise everybody? Is going to go against all the odds? These are some of the things I'll be asking my guest. And she's a member of the Ken 2024. So, Marie, welcome.
Yes,
once
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
I believe our viewers are eager to hear and also understand. The first question is, why Kennedy Agyapong, the Honorable? He's a businessman. He's an MP. He's been in Parliament for 23 years. What else does he want? So
then my question to you is, why not Kennedy Agyapong?
Okay, because you know what? In our kind of politics in Africa and Ghana, to be precise, there is more or less a so-called, in quote, designed politicians, and you've got to play the game by a certain code of conduct and ethics and all kinds of things. So we have that perception. That is why I'm asking, because he's never held any ministerial position in government, both in the Kufuor government and the current government. So it baffles others that why has he made the decision now to compete?
Okay. So I think my response to that is simply this. What does the Constitution of Ghana say about anybody who wants to become president of the Republic? The Constitution doesn't give a criteria per se as to what kind of portfolio somebody should have held before they can assume that office.
Yeah.
The Constitution is very clear. I believe it states that any Ghanaian over the age of 40 of sound mind can run for office as president.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So why are we boxing ourselves up with all these criteria? And these are the sorts of mindsets that have, brought us to where we are now, where we're all complaining and all frustrated about the situation in Ghana. So for me, I believe that it's about time we break certain patterns, certain mindsets, think outside the box and see who else can we give an opportunity to lead the country. They don't necessarily need to have been a member of parliament. They don't necessarily need to have held any kind of office, ministerial position, or any portfolio in government before they fit that criteria. And if we are able to think along those lines, I believe we can find the right person, even beyond Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, to lead the country and most likely put the country on the trajectory that we are all looking for. So what I would encourage every Ghanaian listening to us this afternoon to do is to learn to think outside the box.
Okay.
You see, we've been programmed a certain way as a society, and that's exactly what you said. In order for somebody to become a president, they should have been a part of government for a certain number of years.
Yeah.
Even then, they should have held certain kinds of positions in government, And so if they haven't done that, then we seem to find it difficult to grasp the concept that they too can lead the country. But that shouldn't be the case. If that was the case, Ukraine, for example, wouldn't have a comedian as president.
That's a very interesting one.
Yeah. Ukraine wouldn't have had a comedian as a president. If that was the case, America, one of the greatest nations on the planet, wouldn't have given Donald Trump an opportunity to become president and to lead the country, regardless of how his presidency turned out. So I think the lesson or the moral in here is that we need to learn to break familiar patterns. If you've done something for a long period of time and it's not helping, you need to learn to look outside the box and explore other avenues. And I think for us as a people, that is where we often get stuck, because we are so used to the type of programming that we have, to the point where we just cannot begin to even fathom that there's something else outside of that status quo.
Okay, thank you for that. And I believe that if you just join us, you're live on Star Radio UK, and this Faith Talk, where we discuss everything concerning the believer, and politics is a key part of us. If you ignore, you pay the price. It's very necessary, very important, because without Daniel being at the top, decision making, he wouldn't have influence with all the gift that God gave him. So it's necessary as a believer we look for ways to occupy certain positions in politics and out of politics as well. Everywhere you find yourself, I believe that as a believer you've got to play your role to the max, and that is where God's glory is revealed. And so it's necessary, and we'll always talk about politics on Faith Talk. And we're streaming live on Twitter. It's Star Radio UK, on YouTube channel, on Facebook, couple of pages. Marie's Facebook page, KB Bossman's Facebook page, and Star Radio Global. So many pages on Instagram, and so many. And so you can look for it, Periscope and TuneIn Radio. We're live on our amazing interactive app. You just go on your Apple or Android and download our app, and you can listen on the go. And also you can send in your questions, your contributions, and all the questions that you might have, or your contributions, and then we'll be able to read it out, and I believe that we'll be able to answer them. My guest will be able to. Thank you. And so let me come back to Marie. Thank you for that answer. Everybody qualifies anyway, as long as you fit into what the Constitution has made available for us. Now, my next question is that the governing NPP, that's the governing party, it looks like they are favorites. There are certain people that are favorites. There are cracks in some of there are people holding certain parts, and the kind of, we've been here before, we've been here that long, we were the one that birthed the party, we were I mean, it's about us. And so Kennedy coming in at this time, is it not going to create that crack? Is it not going to widen it? Is it not going to mess things up? Because I've been watching some of his campaign tours, and it looks like it's gathering some momentum and all that. So is it a good opportunity for him, or is it doomed for the party?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't say it's doomed for the party. I think it's a plus for the party.
Okay.
This time, in politics, the more the merrier. It's not the fewer the merrier. It's the more the merrier. As well, from some of the narrative we've heard from him, in terms of his achievements, etc.
Yeah.
You realize that he's been around for a very long time. Kennedy Japan is not a novice in the party. He's not somebody who joined the party, up to about a decade ago. He's been around them since the 90s, right from the get-go.
Right.
When he's talking about his achievements, he mentions things that he did for the party right from when Edu Boahin was standing. This was around 91, 92 age. So I'm struggling to wrap my head around how somebody would say he hasn't been around for a long time. And so he may not have been an active politician back then, but he still was around. He still was very much a part of the party. So for me, the time frame is not an issue in terms of how long he's been with them or anything like that. I mean, when did Dr. Bawumia join the party, for example? as far as many of us are concerned, Dr. Bawumia joined them, I believe, in the early 2000s or mid 2000s when President Akufo-Addo brought him on board.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Mm.
But as we're talking now, he's got people supporting and believing that he can be the next president of the Republic of Ghana.
Yeah.
So time as to when somebody joined, and that sort of thing shouldn't really be an issue. And you see, for me, this is where I sometimes get so worried for us as a people. We waste so much time on the unnecessary things rather than looking at meritocracy and what the individual can bring on board.
Right.
So what, whether he joined yesterday or this morning, if the person can do the job and they qualify and the constitution, per the prescription of the constitution, they're allowed to stand, why don't you just give them the opportunity and then let the people decide, let the delegates decide? That's all we're saying. So at this point in time, I mean, what I can say to people listening to us is that Honorable Kennedy Japong is here. He's very much a part of the race. He's not backing down. I heard on the news, one of the news outlets yesterday, that he might be doing this just to try and garner some people to split the votes or anything. No, he's not doing that. He's seeking to run for president of Ghana in 2025, and that is just what it takes, full stop.
So he's all set and resolute.
He's all set and resolute, very much a part of the process.
He's not backing down.
No, he's not backing down. Why should he back down?
Even if the elders should call him to appeal to him that he's still young.
And what does young mean? You and I live in the United Kingdom, being led at the moment by a prime minister who's only 40 years old. So what is young?
The reason why I said that is we know the history of the NPP, that the former minister, that's Alan Tramantin, was asked to allow the President Nana Akufo-Addo to have his way, or in other words, to give him the opportunity, and that he will also have his opportunity in terms of age as well, because it was fierce, the competition. And
that is why we are where we are today, my brother. That is why we are where we are today. If that was the case, then it means it was a cultural decision rather than a political decision.
Right.
No wonder we are where we are today, because probably if Mr. Alan Chermatin had been given the opportunity, Ghana probably would have made so much progress by now. So what I would say, if that decision was made in terms of age, then I look at it more as a cultural decision as opposed to a political decision. And in this day and age, in 2023, I don't think our generation should be entertaining that type of ideology or that type of thinking.
But,
so fair enough. If that's the case, then why are we having this conversation? Then it means, the MPP automatically should give Mr. Alan Chermatin the opportunity to lead them. So why are they trying to throw in Dr. Bawumia?
That is where the challenge is, because you see, from the background of the MPP, where the current president, he had to run for 3 times. He attempted 3 times, and the last one was fierce, and Mr. Alan Tramantin had to step back, even though he competed, he agreed and all the stuff, But what I'm saying is, it might be cultural, maybe, but it's like for me, somebody would say, this is my time. It doesn't matter, as you rightly said, it doesn't matter when you come in, but also there are people that have sacrificed, there are people that have laid down their lives from day one till now, and they've invested their time and resources to this very hour. So to give it up for somebody that, in quote, an example is the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, coming in at that in the 2000s. The party started early 90s, and he coming in now, in some quarters they believe that he shouldn't be given the nod. That's where the confusion starts.
And I know that, and I hear them, and I understand where they're coming from. But for me, as a student of politics, what I am hearing then is that we're not practicing democracy then. So let them come out and tell us that what we're doing is not democracy. If they can make that very clear to us, then we can understand them. But if indeed we're practicing democracy, then I'm afraid, respectfully, none of what you're telling me makes any sense. It doesn't, because that's not how democracy is practiced. Democracy is not based on I've been around the longest, so it's my turn now, or I gave up my seat and allowed somebody else to sit down, so now the opportunity is coming again, and it's my turn because I gave it up the last. It doesn't work like that. It really it doesn't work like that in the West, where the bedrock of democracy is. And it shouldn't really be working like that in Africa. And if that's the case, then no wonder our continent is the way it is. Now, narrowing it down to Ghana, it is not a surprise that our type of governance or our system of governance is the way it is.
Right. Okay. We'll be talking about the vision of Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, what he has, what he's got up his sleeves, that he believes that he can make Ghana great again. That will be getting us back to the days of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president. God bless his soul. That is what is running through my mind. But in terms of the whole setup, now there are, in every competition, there are front runners. We can't shy away from that. They are front runners, and these front runners, there is in certain quarters super delegates kind of noise here and there that's flying through. I mean, it's all over the place. Let me put it that way. It's all over the place that there's going to be a super delegates, and that's, in other words, it's the first a first round or the first balloting. Then whoever gets a particular percentage then they'll move them to the second phase. Is that true in the MPP?
Well, that is what I am also aware of, but that would only happen if the contestants exceed 5 individuals or 5 people.
Okay.
So if it goes beyond 5 people, then it would have to go to the super delegates. So that would be like the first tier of the elections, almost like to shortlist them, to reduce them perhaps to maybe 3 or so. Yeah. So in a way, I mean, I've heard people run commentary to the effect that they're praying that doesn't happen, because then it wastes a lot of time and also causes some confusion. So hopefully they don't get more than 5 people to run for the race. But as far as I'm concerned now, I think the top 3 that are the top of the town at the moment are Mr. Alan Chermantin, Dr. Bawumia, and Kennedy Agyapong. So for me, and then there's Kwabena Agyapong as well. They are great minister, but I think his attempt is sort of dwindling. It seems to be dying out, fading out gradually.
You think so? They are dark horses.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Sorry to cut in.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
As you mentioned, the former Greek minister, one person that started the campaign, his personal campaign. Yeah. I think almost 3 years ago, right after the elections, I saw people putting together some groups and started campaigning, and he was out there. I mean, on the streets, knocking doors and talking to party faithfuls for the NPP. What's his name? The former energy minister. He's also Tremantin. Something Tremantin. Former energy minister. What's his name? Boache Ejakun.
Mr. Boache Ejakun. Yeah.
Honorable Boache Ejakun. And he's been quiet, but I've been watching, his movement. And he's been out there for the last 3 years. So, are there dark horses that this is going to be a shocker? Possibly. So,
no, to be honest, I don't see any shockers beyond the top 3, to be honest.
Are you sure?
Oh, no. No. I don't see any shockers beyond the top 3. I think the main 3, the main contestants are Mr. Alan Chermantin, Dr. Bawumia, Kennedy Japan. And if there's going to be any shocker, it's going to be the underdog Kennedy Japan, who has gathered so much momentum. And trust me, he's a populist. The people love him from both sides of the political, or let me say across all sides of the political divide. Everybody loves him. Simply for his honesty, for his patriotism, for his discipline, which are his 3 main campaign pillars, so I don't see any contenders beyond the top 3, to be honest. That's it.
Okay, so
people can believe otherwise. They're entitled to believe otherwise. These are just my personal conviction. This is my personal opinion, and I can really think for other people. So
sure. And
yeah.
It's going to be, I can foresee so much, because people have invested so much. And I'm wondering, all these guys, if they had decided to create in their, where they come from, their constituencies or their regions, if the money that they are spending on this, millions,
Bossman, it doesn't matter. It's about what you can do for the people.
No, what I'm saying is, if somebody is going to spend $1 million, and it would definitely get to that figure, and knowing African politics, that money would these people, would they not be let me say, would it not be wise for them created a company or something valuable than wasting this money? Something something meaningful, something that is a legacy.
Yeah, but what do you care?
I care about the people, a better society.
So then they should be making that decision, not you. That shouldn't be your problem. They should be wise enough to be making that decision. So if you're spending all this money on the grassroots level, trying to convince people to vote for you or delegates to vote for you because you want to be president, and the people whom it concerns themselves are not talking about you, you're not part of the talk of the town, then forget it. So for me, that's not going to be my concern. If you have that money and you want to spend it to become president and nobody's talking about you, that should be a clue in itself.
This is just to become a flag bearer.
A flag bearer, yeah. But if you're not part of the conversation, shouldn't you really be taking a cue from that?
They believe that they have a strong, they are strong on the grounds.
That's
when it
fine.
comes
We
to
can't take their beliefs away from them. So we leave them to it, and then come 4th of November, we'll see how it goes. But as far as I'm concerned now, the top 3 who are the talk of the town everywhere you turn, as I said, Mr. Alan Chermantin, Dr. Bawumia, Kennedy Japan, full stop.
So let me ask this. Has the politics, or the presidency, been reduced to the highest bidder? The more money you have, you can become president. Is that what has been reduced to, the seat of government?
Yes and no.
Because that is the front runners, that is what you can more or less see around them, that they've got the money, they've got a bit of influence, almost all of them, but they've got the money. So the money is the key thing, and you can see what they are doing already.
Of course, because money is a key aspect of it. Why do you think Donald Trump won the presidency in America? It was his money. That's why he was flashing his airplanes, his jets and all that. Politics is money. But particularly in Africa, a key aspect of politics in Africa is money. We've been talking about it. People have talked about it for decades and decades. There are several reports on it. it's not about to change today or tomorrow. It is what it is. So we can say that in the political context, money plays a major role. If you don't have money, don't even try. Don't attempt it.
So don't you think that if we continue like that, we're going to elect people who are not fit to become president, but they've got the money?
Yeah, we potentially could. We could lose out on some very good people who could lead our respective countries on the continent. However, I also do believe that we have very good people who still have the money, and that's good enough.
All right. Okay. It's getting hotter, and I believe that is going to get even hotter. If you've joined us, you're live on Star Radio.
Even here in the UK.
Yes.
So where I live in Doncaster, for example, we have a couple of members of parliament here, Tory members of parliament, who are millionaires. And us as Labour people in Doncaster, we talk about them all the time. Whereby sometimes, for certain meetings, rather than them driving, they would fly their helicopters and things like, or small planes just to a meeting. So it's all over the world. It's not just in Africa or in Ghana per se. It is all over the world where money plays a major role in politics.
Marie, the difference between Ghana and the UK is that Ghana, people will be given envelope, whether we like it or not. They will be physically be given envelope. Some will be cars will be bought for some. Those influential guys in the communities, in the various communities, will be given even, I believe, properties or whatever to make sure that they get on the grounds and cover almost every space. And so the difference between which I've had the privilege of also getting into knocking doors in the UK to understand the politics of it, is down to issues, is down to the human touch, how the MPs are serving the how do you call it, they are serving their constituents. And to my surprise, in the last local elections, I was with the MP for Croydon Central. Is it Croydon Central? I've forgotten her name. Very, very influential, very, very beautiful lady in and out. And you know what? When I saw her car, we were going to use the car, we were going to knock doors. She's a Labour MP. When I saw the car, it's a Volvo XC90 that is 2010 thereabout, and she's been using this car for 18 years. I think 2013 also, she's been using the car for 18 years. That is her car she's been using, the only car. And we were knocking doors. I was with her at one particular place. After speaking to the constituent, she was stepping out. She missed one of the stairs and she got injured. Her arm, she had bruises, and her chin as well, her knee as well. And the next moment, I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. Can we call this off? No. Just check for me. If there's no major cut on my face, I'll be fine. Do you know what? We continued for another hour. And I'm like, wow. This is somebody. She wasn't given even a penny. And one of the... Yeah,
but you see, Bossman, she's been trained like that since childhood. The system in her country, the programming, the wiring in her country, the mindset, the consciousness, the political consciousness of her country has trained her to be like that. When you go over to our continent, it's a whole different ball game. Now, it's gotten to a point where we talk about it, we condemn it somewhat, but it is beyond our control. What do you do?
So do we leave it and throw our hands in the air?
We don't leave it and throw our hands in the air. We continue to talk about it, but it's not something we can eradicate today or tomorrow. It is so embedded in our politics across the entire continent that it is so difficult to get rid of. So yes, we will continue to talk about it. We will continue to try and get our politicians to understand that it's something that they need to manage, but to say that we're getting rid of it completely, I don't envision it happening today or anytime soon. So
that's anyway.
It is what it is.
We'll talk about that later. So I mean, that's one of the things we're going to be dealing with early next year, because
you see, we've gotten to a point where if the politicians themselves decide not to even make the offer, the people will place the demand.
Okay. We have to find a way to get it changed, because it will take time. It's not going to be easy, but I believe that we've got to start working on it, because if not, we're just going to elect people that have got the money and are empty-headed.
It will have to take laws. We need to put laws in place to curb some of these things. But the question is, who's going to enforce the law?
We'll find ways.
That's a whole new conversation. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Anyway, let's go back to the Honorable Kennedy Agyapong for President 2024.
Yeah.
Now, what is his vision for Ghana? Why should we take him serious that he can come and rescue Ghana, lead Ghana from a party that have put Ghana in the state that Ghana has been at? This afternoon, one of my old school platform, somebody put something that we're discussing in Kenya and using Ghana as an example, and I'm like, why? What again? You understand? So, who is he and what is? Did
you say from a party that has put Ghana in this state?
I said, the party. The new patriotic party, where we are as a country, where we're struggling to pay wages, we're struggling almost the economy is at the mercy of.
Yeah, but if that's the case, which party out of the two major ones has had the longest opportunity to rule the country?
We're talking about now. There might be a mess in the past, but we can talk about the past, but the present is the most important, because when we want to move forward, we can't look back. If we want to make progress, we can't look back.
Yeah, but I think it's important we lay that premise that both political parties somewhat have all contributed to where we are. However, one has had the longest opportunity, so they need to take more. We need to apportion more of the blame to them than to the new patriotic party, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, having said that, yes, this administration, and I want to narrow the conversation down to this administration and not necessarily to the entire political party. Now, I know the political party forms government, fair enough, but we can compare. We've seen other MPP governments. At least in my lifetime, I saw the President Kufuor government. Okay. Yeah. So comparing President Kufuor's government, which was another MPP government, to this one, there's no way. I mean, I know I've been slacking the MPP, giving them some heat, but it gets to a point as well where sometimes we need to cut them some slack and be honest about the situation.
Right.
I think if we're comparing both political parties in Ghana, the MPP still stands a far better chance to put Ghana on the right trajectory as opposed to the NDC.
Now, sure?
Don't forget, I became a member of the NDC for the first time in my life. I joined a political party in Ghana in 2020.
Right.
And for one reason or the other, due to my displeasure with the MPP and several other reasons, I joined the NDC. I campaigned for the NDC, and I stayed with them up until last year, October last year. Now, for the 2 years I was with them, I saw a lot. I witnessed a lot. And without going into too much detail, I arrived at a conclusion that the NDC is not a serious political party.
Serious, serious as in what? I mean, setup system.
The NDC, absolutely. The NDC has very weak structures.
Okay.
Even looking at their UK chapter alone, just the UK chapter alone gave me an indication of how very weak the NDC is. As to why they haven't paid attention to strengthening their structures over the years or over the decades, I don't know. I don't know why they've neglected, as you know, the structures, the main fundamental structures that's supposed to hold their party. I don't know why they've neglected that. And at this point in time, I don't want to say I don't really care, but because they need to sort things out in order for Ghanaians to take them seriously, and at least in order for them to, as best as they can, try and get at par with the MPP.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, you mean the NDC is not at par with the MPP?
No.
Are you sure?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Right. What's your argument? I mean, what are some of the points? Is it because of the structures? Because of, I mean, structures, organization, systems? Is
all of those things form the structures which the NDC lacks.
Okay.
They have very weak structures, and I'm not the only one who's saying it. I mean, a couple of months ago, President Mahama himself put up a notice on his Facebook page, and the post that he put out was to do with them strengthening the structures within the party. And for me, as somebody who was with them for 2 years in the UK here, that almost reaffirmed my beliefs on them, that their structures were very weak.
Okay.
Now, the fact that a political party has weak structures doesn't mean they can't win elections. They still can go ahead and win elections. It doesn't make their structures any more stronger or firmer than they should be. There's still the NDC still has a lot of work to do. Not just working on their internal structures, but even working on the mindsets of their supporters, their base.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
The NDC, even post 2020 elections, they are not a party that many Ghanaians gravitate towards. The only reason why it's coming across as if many people are talking about them is because of some of the challenges that this administration has had and how they have handled it. And that's where I have an issue with the MPP. Yes, we acknowledge they've had challenges, but it's just the way and manner they've handled the challenges that sometimes rubs on the wrong side of majority of Ghanaians. And that's the only reason why people now seem to be paying close attention to the NDC. And as a result of that, we can now also see, or I can now also see, the NDC now capitalizing on that and beginning to now work on some of the things that we were pointing out to them, or even I was pointing out to them, no matter how small they were. I can now I can now see that they are beginning to gradually work on themselves. But notwithstanding that, you cannot take away from the MPP who they are, what they have, and how solid their structures are.
Okay. So anyway, the NDC is not here to defend themselves, but whatever they say,
as I'm concerned, they don't need to defend anything. I was a part of them, and these are my own personal experiences from when I was with them.
Okay.
These are I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't want to be, there's no point I sit here and badmouth them, but the time will come for that.
Okay.
But I saw a lot, I witnessed a lot, I made attempts to help them resolve some of these issues, which they themselves will tell you, this is the NDC. We know what you're talking about, we hear you, but this is how we've been doing things for God knows how long. And they know it's working against them. But as I said, for the first time, I can now see them, because they're now, people are now starting to pay attention to them. I can see that they're now listening and they're making attempts to try and make things better. So eventually they will get there. That I can see that happening. Eventually they will get there.
Okay.
But in terms of 2024, trust me, I think the MPP still stands a far better chance. as somebody said on one of my programs last week, the MPP just needs to put its ego in check, and that's it.
And how do they put that ego in check?
Yeah, they put the ego in check by they just need to listen.
I wish they will.
You've got to listen. You've got to sit up. You've got to admit to your faults, to your flaws, to the mistakes, to why we are where we are. You need to keep apologizing. You don't just apologize once and leave it at that. You need to keep apologizing and, show the signs that you're doing everything in your power to make things better.
But when they do that, would they not be empowering their opponents, giving them an advantage, because they will be riding on the wings of their admission of apologizing, or like as you're saying, they have to look inward and then work in humility. In other words,
no. Now, bear in mind, the finance minister sat in Parliament a few months ago and apologized to the entire nation for what has happened, for the part that they have played, government has played in, why we are where we are, and so on. And you see, when you do that, it puts you in a position of power. Your opponent can interpret it and use it however they want to use it, but it puts you, the person who's apologizing, in a position of power. So how you then use that power is up to you. How your opponent is translating it shouldn't be your concern. It shouldn't be your worry. That's for them to do. That is what opposition does.
Right.
But if you apologize, it puts you in a position of power, and I'm glad the finance minister did at some point. But you see, every so often, I would like to hear some of the MPP communicators, or not even some of them, all of them, every so often, when they are being challenged on radio stations, TV interviews, etc., to come from that standpoint. That standpoint of, look, we do admit we've had challenges, we do admit we've made some mistakes, we apologize, however, and then you slot in what the solutions are, what government is doing to rectify whatever it is that has happened, rather than being too defensive. And that is why I believe many people have challenges with them. So for me, if the MPP Communication Directorate can look at that strategy, I would prefer that. But then again, that's just me.
Right.
That's just me. Oftentimes when I say some of these things on my program, I say them from a standpoint of what I'm gathering from the people, particularly on social media, and even during private conversations. And sometimes you just apply it even to your own personal life. When you've made somebody angry, how do you pacify them? How do you try and win them back? You win them back by apologizing, but first of all, by admitting to your faults, apologizing, and then reassuring them. That should be the three-pronged approach that I think the MPP should maintain all the way through to 2024.
So, okay. I'm going to read.
Because it will keep coming back at them.
Yeah.
And they need to admit that it will keep coming back at them. So they need to start managing all the scandals that are happening, or everything that's coming out, how you handle it as well. Because we're observing them. It's a political party. It's a system of governance. So we're observing you, that if something happens, is this how you handle issues? Is this how you treat people from within your own party? I want to like a typical example is how government has handled this Professor Frimpong Boateng report. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's been handled in a mature manner. But that's not for discussion tonight.
We'll discuss that. Let me ask this question before I even read some of the comments that have come through. After 8 years of an MPP government, you believe that the Ghanaian people should continue to keep faith with the MPP?
Yes, why not?
Why?
Why not? Because the alternative hasn't given us any indication of what they're going to be doing differently.
Seriously?
Yes. Now, let's bring it back to the UK. You and I live in the UK. All the way back to 2010 when David Cameron came.
Yeah.
with all the cuts and everything that made people so angry, remember the benefit cuts and all that, many people thought during the next election that the Tories were going to be voted out of government. I lie? However, the Tories were maintained. With all everything that has transpired in between all the way up until today, 13 years later, the great British public kept voting for the Tories. What that tells us is that the people can be angry at their government. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to toss power over to the next political party.
But you see,
sometimes they keep you for you to clean the mess.
Yes, but you see,
you clean the mess.
Thank you for mentioning that. You see, the difference between Ghana and the UK is that all the scandals that have happened in Ghana, none of these people would have been in power or be at post if it was to be in the UK. You know how many, look at what happened to Kwesi Kwarteng.
Absolutely. I'm not even going to let you end your sentence. I know that.
So that is totally different.
Yes, but that doesn't mean we need to change the political party. Because trust me, if the NDC come to power and anything happens,
yes,
they might sack some people, they might chuck some people into prison or whatever.
Yeah.
But they can also still experience everything or cause everything that we are experiencing today.
That is.
So the point I'm trying to make is that my wish is that we as a people will get to a point where we stop tossing power between the two political parties every 8 years. That hasn't helped us. It makes people settle in their comfort zone because they know that no matter what they do, the 8 years will come. They can muck up, they can do whatever, the 8 years will come, it will automatically be tossed to another group.
Exactly.
That group will also come, they will do whatever they want, they don't care, and this is why we are not getting any accountability from both sides.
You see, if the way the system is in Ghana, if you leave a party in power for more than 8 years, trust me, these guys will, I mean, the whole party, the whole country will be sold. I don't care if it's NDC or NPP. They can sell, either of the two can sell the country, and the people will never know that the country is sold. That is one thing. So I believe that no party should be kept in power for a particular period of time.
I am not going to subscribe to that thinking, that type of thinking. No.
Seriously?
No. I don't believe that. Not especially in this day and age.
Okay.
With the consciousness being as open as it is now, at least to a certain degree, you know, with how we are all now involved, whether via social media or whatever, with all the activism and advocacies, and like everybody's eyes are on government or are on our system of governance now. Everybody's eyes are on parliament now. We are now very much a part of the process as opposed to a couple of decades ago.
Okay, let me.
You see what I mean? So I don't believe that if you keep one political party in power for more than 8 years, they're going to sell the country or they're going to
let me qualify the sale that I was talking about. What I meant was that
I know what you mean by
you know. Okay, so
yeah, I know what you mean by that. Not in the literal sense, because of course that can't happen. But
until as a country we get a third option, which is going to be very, very, very difficult. We will have to be we'll have to be trying to, I don't know, but let me get.
And what do you mean by the third option? Like a third force?
Third force, as in getting a youth party that is serious, and I don't want to get into that.
And that's what I've said to the group of people who are championing this third force, that they should focus on getting people into parliament. That's where it should start from. If you look at the reason why the UK parliament is one of the strongest systems of governance across the world, is because of the diversity in parliament.
Okay.
It's not just Labour and the Tories in there doing whatever they like.
Okay.
It's because you've got other parties in there or other groups in there causing, being a part of the checks and balances.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to send us a WhatsApp message, this is our WhatsApp number 07539661744. That's 07539661744. 07539 661744, and you can send us a message on WhatsApp. We'll be more than happy to read it out, a contribution or your opinion about the state of politics and what the future holds. 2024 is just around the corner, and as a nation, where do we go from here after the reign of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo comes to an end? Okay, so a couple of message, I believe, question message. Okay, let me read them. Right, Akute, oh man of God, thank you for joining. God bless you. That's Prophet Bride Akute, and thank you all the way from Ghana. And also I have Prophet Clinton Anochi. God bless you, man of God. Wonderful. He says great work, and he says where Ghana has gotten to, we don't need apologies. Okay, apologies. So we need a competent person to resolve our problems.
We need radicalism. Yes, we need a radical leader. Yeah.
Yes, he says the propaganda is too much on us. You people have sugar mouth. Okay, sugar in mouth to deceive people. Okay, all right.
Somebody thinks they are being deceived, right?
Yes, exactly. I like that. The politicians. So he says nope. What? Nope. They okay. So he said okay. He meant nope. And NPP has failed this nation, and they should bow their heads in shame. Okay. So
MPP hasn't failed the nation. This regime, this administration.
But it's the MPP that's their political party. They are riding on the wings of the MPP.
There are other solid guys in the MPP
exactly,
who can do the job, and they are the people we are looking to bring for
a family name is a family name. You can't do anything about it unless you do away, divorce the family. Apart from that, you are still part of the family. So
no, the MPP is a formidable party. Trust me,
it is. But what
more formidable than the NDC?
I mean, I will not fault you. You've been in both ends. You've been at both ends, and you've tasted both the two parties. So
yeah,
as I said, if the NDC people were here, then possibly they would have do the honest as to ask questions as well. But let me say that please keep your questions coming in. I will go to let me ask this. I asked the question, and I'll go after that. I'll come back to those on WhatsApp. Please bear with me. I'll read your questions. Marie, let's talk about the vision of Honorable Kennedy Ejapon. Why should people take him serious as our next president?
I don't like that question. Why shouldn't people take him serious? Please, let's take away the word
Nobody
serious.
took President Trump serious when he started. People thought he was joking. So people were like, forget about him. That's why I used that word.
Okay, and then in the end, what happened?
He became.
How did the Trump story end?
Exactly. That's why when I was in my opening
White House or not?
In my opening statement, I mentioned that is he the Donald Trump of Ghana? Did I ask that? You heard me.
Well, he is then.
Exactly.
In that context, then let's just say yes, he is.
Anything can happen.
You see, the problem I have with Ghanaians is this. We all say we're looking for a leader who cares, a leader who is compassionate, a leader who would think about the people, a leader who is disciplined, a leader who is honest, a leader who would take care of the public purse, look after our economy, etc., etc. We now have found such an individual from within one of our political parties, and now we're trying to find fault with him. What is wrong with us as a people?
But do you know, you just made a statement about now Ghanaians their eyes are open, that people can find out stuff like where in the past, in the 90s, for you to get certain information, it was difficult. Today, you can walk into ministries and other government institutions and demand, or in other words, request. Let me use request, not demand. Request information about certain things because we have the right to information bill passed.
Yeah.
Is that so? So that is one arm. On the other arm, because of social media, people are getting educated on daily basis about certain policies, about certain people. They can dig deep to your background and find out so much that
fair enough.
You understand?
Fair enough. So now let's dig deep. Let's dig even deeper into Honorable Kennedy Japon's background. What is there in his background?
No. I'm not talking about his background. I'm talking about you mentioned that we've now found somebody that'll be able to deliver. Hey, happy days. That's for the country. We should be excited. But do you believe that if he's associated with he's never been a minister, but if he's associated with the MPP, people are going to believe because you know what, the floating vote,
absolutely, people already believe in him. And you see, Honorable Kennedy Japan has always distinguished himself.
Seriously?
Absolutely. He is the only member of parliament who for the longest time has been very objective when it comes to national issues. The only member of parliament that many of us can point to who has openly condemned his own party on several policies that he hasn't agreed with them on. How many of them have been able to do that, even from the NDC side? How many members of parliament or members of our political system do you know who have been open and bold and courageous enough to speak up on national issues as Honorable Kennedy Japan?
Not very many. And I mean, you're right.
Even in terms of Galamsey, out of the 137 members of parliament from the MPP side, he's the only one who was able to come out and tell the entire nation that the way President Akufo-Addo was handling Galamsey, it wasn't going well, and that the roots under him, the roots under President Akufo-Addo, i.e. the people who were supposed to be supporting him or helping him from within his government to curb Galamsey, were the very people working against him. It was Honorable Kennedy Japan, first person who came out to tell Ghanaians, the entire nation, this.
I like his honesty on certain on some of the issues that he talks about, but also, is he not a threat to the success of the MPP?
Is he not a threat?
Yes.
This is somebody who has helped the MPP from way back. Now, just bear with me a few moments. Just bear with me a few minutes.
Okay. So if you've just joined us, you're live on Star Radio UK, and the program is Faith Talk. We discussing the 2024 elections. The fire is already been the fire is already on, and the governing New Patriotic Party are looking to elect a flag bearer, and is getting heated because Honorable Kennedy Japan is on the bail, and people know him for his radical stand when it comes to national issues. And I'm going to be asking my guest, I've asked about his vision, and she's mentioned some few stuff. We're going to more comments are coming in.
I'm trying to find on social media. I recently shared something on my Facebook, a list of some of the things that he had done for the party from way back in the 90s. In terms of, buying the party pickup single-handedly, bailing them out. There we go. So some of his, actually, I'll just read just a couple of them. So he's been a founding member of the US-based Amoakwa-Boadu Club, which was formed in 1991.
Right.
Okay. The MPP itself was formed in 1992 through Dankwa Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the age of 32, Kennedy Japan and his business partner sponsored the MPP with $3 million with a $3 million loan facility they took from Carl Bank with an 8-year payment plan.
Loan, not his personal money.
A loan.
Okay.
Yeah. But then it was an intervention.
Okay.
So whether it was his personal money or not,
right,
he went ahead. Who else went ahead and did the party this favor? It doesn't matter whether it was his personal money or a loan.
But possibly he's the only person that have come out to say it. There might be other people that have not even.
So why would anybody from the party come out and deny it?
But there are people that will never even make a statement.
So if you don't make a statement, then his statement stands.
No, I'm talking about there are people that might have helped the party that will never come out to talk about it.
People who have helped the party that will never come out, are they looking to stand for president? No, they are not.
No.
So we cannot bring that into this conversation. This is somebody who wants to stand as president and is touting his achievements or what he's done for the party. So if anybody else has done anything for the party, I mean, I've done things for the party from the age of 14 when I used to go and put posters out for them. that's my own contribution, even as a little girl.
Oh my.
That's still something, But anyway, all jokes aside, so these are some of the things he's done. Now let's continue. In 1992, he personally gave the MPP flag bearer, Professor Edu Boahin, $300,000 for his campaign, regardless of whether it was his own money, whether it was a loan, whether he borrowed it from his mother or his next door neighbor. He gave it to Professor Edu Boahin. That's the point. Okay. He donated pickups to MPP in previous election years as follows. In 1996, he gave the MPP 15 pickups.
Okay.
In the year 2000, he gave them 50 pickups. 2004, 100 pickups. 2008, 245 Tata pickups, 77 Russian trucks. In 2008, he gave out $2 million, which enabled the party to embark on a presidential runoff. Okay?
Yeah.
2012, he guaranteed for the party a $2 million loan from a Chinese business person. Okay? 2014, he single-handedly sponsored the MPP for the Tamale Congress. And when I heard him share this particular story, when apparently their general secretary at the time, Sir John of blessed memories, had to write to the leaders of the various constituencies that they couldn't hold a general congress that year, it was Honorable Kennedy Japan who intervened, stepped in and said, no, we have to hold this congress, and I'm going to pay for it. And he single-handedly paid for it to be held in Tamale. Okay. 2016, he personally paid for 120 out of 240 pickups, which he purchased from the USA for the party. So you see, there's a whole list more. Recently, we're talking about a $6 million cardio and dialysis center that he's putting up at the 37 military hospital. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah? You talk about things he's done for the Ghana Armed Forces, like fish ponds, like a 1 kilometer stretch fish ponds at, a Trima? It's a whole list of things. Remember, there was an incident where somebody made a video from Lebanon and said that some Ghanaian young girls, those girls who go to Lebanon and Kuwait and these places to serve as house helps.
Yeah, they were stuck.
They were stranded. They were being maltreated and were stranded over there. So somebody made a video. Not even the Ghana embassy responded to that video. It was Honorable Kennedy Japan who sent a chartered flight to go and pick up those Ghanaian girls and brought them back home.
So, I mean,
so for me, these are now COVID-19. Remember, he was the first member of parliament who made such a huge donation of PPEs. I'm sure you remember that, with hospital beds and all that.
Yeah.
What more do we want the man to do? Not to talk of individuals that he has helped, people whom he has sent to school, people's children that he has educated. So if such an individual has given of himself to his people as a private individual, on this level, Not to talk of his job creation. Honorable Kennedy Japan, as an individual, member of parliament, has created over 7,000 jobs.
7,000 jobs?
Over 7,000 jobs.
What are some of his businesses?
He has a whole bunch of them. There's the media aspect. As we're talking now, he's currently building the largest steel plant. I'm sure you heard recently they sent some GRA people there to go and frustrate them. A whole list of them. I can't sit here and list all his businesses.
Right.
But he's employed over 7,000 people in the country.
7,000?
Undeniable.
Okay.
Nobody can deny that.
7,000. That's, I mean...
As a private individual. So you see, for me, these are some of the benefits that he's already bringing to the table because he understands the issues. And even as a private individual, is already in his own capacity resolving the problems. Employment, health, education, rescue mission in terms of rescuing the girls. So if anything should happen to any Ghanaian anywhere, as a president, he understands because he's done it before as a private person. Job creation, business negotiations, all this IMF that we are at the moment, he understands the process. He would ensure we don't go to IMF because he's a business person, he's business savvy, he knows how to deal and interact with investors, etc., how to negotiate.
You believe
what we want from the man.
Okay, you believe that these processes with the IMF and everything that the nation is going through, he does understand, and he will be able to either avoid or be able to negotiate a better deal for the nation.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
because he's proven it with his own businesses. You see, what I like about Honorable Kennedy Japan, which has informed me to throw my weight behind him, is the fact that he's a doer. You know, the Bible talks about doers.
Yes.
Honorable Kennedy Japan is a doer. He is not a talker. Honorable Kennedy Japan has shown us. He has already showed us what he can do as a private individual. So at the moment, his works are already speaking for him.
Okay. Let me, because of time.
Another very key aspect.
Okay.
You know, you're a journalist.
Yeah.
Recently, you heard about the court case, the landslide court case that he won against Anas Aremeyao Anas.
Yes.
Now, what does that mean? What does that represent? That's fairness and justice. Kennedy Japan, somebody who fights against systemic injustices. If I'm to sum him up in one or two words, it's fairness and justice.
Right.
In our local, in my local dialect, we will say "Ompe NCCA." Honorable Kennedy Japan doesn't like to see injustice against people, injustice against another Ghanaian.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because of time, I'll put a couple of things together. With regards to the court case, I mean, it's subject to debate because of the system, the judicial system, and what the Afrobarometer has been over the years concerning judges. So I wouldn't doubt the outcome or the judgment that was given. I wouldn't doubt that, but I believe that others will have possibly a different perception. Now, if you don't mind, let me just come in here for a few seconds. For me, I don't think we should even dwell too much on the judgment. I think we should rather focus on the fact that he is the only one out of the governing system that was able to stand up, identify a problem first of all. So he came up with, okay, fair enough, we have a watchman watching over our politicians and our the leadership in terms of the presidency and all that. But he's the only one who was able to identify a gap and come up with the phrase, who watches the watchman? Because somebody needed to watch the watchman as well. Because then otherwise the watchman could be doing whatever he wanted and expected us to just take it, anything that he comes up with, expected us to take it and swallow it. But Honorable Kennedy Japan was the only one out of the lot who was able to identify that problem and keep a close eye on the watchman himself, and the effect of that
was the landslide victory, the court case that he won.
Okay. Because of time, just like what you've just the submission you've just made, are you trying to say? I mean, in just a short answer, are you trying to say that possibly, in quote, the MPP or the government, majority of them are cowards and they can't stand up to the truth? Is that what you're saying? So he is the only brave soul to stand up to injustice.
I would say yes, unapologetically, yes.
Okay,
yes,
that's fine.
Yes. And you see,
talk about
the only reason why it is like that, many of them wish they could be like Honorable Kennedy Japan.
Okay.
There was a time, sometime last year, where an NDC member of Parliament, Mahama Ayarega, sat on Paul Adumotri's show, Good Evening Ghana, and said that he wished that many of them could exhibit their independent mindedness. But you see, we the people have created a system whereby our politicians are afraid of us, and I put that in quotes.
Okay.
Because we threaten, when they come out as bold and as courageous as people like Honorable Kennedy Japan, we threaten them with, we're not going to vote for you. We're not going to do this. If you do this, we will not vote. So it makes many of them, they just cower. They just go, coil back into their shells.
Okay.
It's not just that. Even within their own systems of governance or within their own political systems as well, people are threatened with taking positions away from them. You're going to lose your seat. We're not going to make you a minister, etc., etc. So it's almost like, just like the former Chief Justice said to us recently when she went out picketing with the pensioners outside.
Yeah.
You're gagged. You're gagged when you're in that environment, for the most part.
Okay.
However, Honorable Kennedy Japan has broken all boundaries.
Okay. Thank you.
Isn't that the type of person we are looking for? Or we've been looking for all this while? Very similar to President Rawlings. Sometimes that's how I look at it.
Okay. I mean, if we go on that path, we don't finish. We'll not conclude. But let me. I wrote two things here. The first one, I was just thinking through some of the things that you mentioned that he's done, but one stands out: the pickups he's been buying. Is it the fact that so he buys all these pickups every 4 years, and campaign seasons are maximum 6 months? It's not even up to 6 months. And so is there an issue that every 4 years these pickups, they need to buy brand new ones? And anyway, because of time, that is,
I don't even think that's an issue, to be honest. I mean, somebody's using their personal money. If they want to buy a new pickup for their political party every day, that's their problem.
Okay.
I don't think we should be worried about that, to be honest.
We don't have time. I would have broken it down to pick up some few points there, because there are lots of messages that I need to read out as well. Now, in terms of policies, what you just mentioned some of the things that he has done. These are not policies. I agree. I mean, he's a lawmaker. So recently, the vice president mentioned that I think he was having a go at the former president, that the former president has never come up with any policy of his own. So he should mention just one. The things that you mentioned, there's nothing like policy, even in his constituency, that he has set up to help his people, that people can measure. I know he's helped people. I've watched people that he's paid their fees and employed some people he set up in business. It's good. It's a good example that he has set as an entrepreneur and also a lawmaker. That is key. Now, when it comes, I mean, leading a country has got to do with policies. And if we're talking about policies, what he's achieved so far, would it be enough for him to lead the country. Because now, as you mentioned earlier on, people are now alert. People know, and the ordinary Ghanaian is very much open to sort of research into whatever is put out there, or whatever you talked about, or you talk about that you've done in the past. People are investigating everything, they are looking into it. So I'm talking about policies, as in what are some of the policies that he believes that he can bring to the table to lead this nation. That's one. And also, from his background of being successful in business, will that help him to become a good leader for our nation?
Okay. So I think in terms of policies, I won't be able to list any policies for you now, because don't forget, Honorable Kennedy Japan is not working in isolation. He is part of a political party.
Yeah.
So it is the party eventually that will bring out their policies for us to look at, debate on, and then make a judgment based on that and vote for them in 2024. So Honorable Kennedy Japan, or none of the contestants, this goes to Dr. Bawumia as well, it goes to Mr. Alan Cash, it goes to everybody else, will not be able to, at this point in time, give us their individual policies. The policies are going to come from the political party, from the MPP as a whole. So we have to wait for that. And I believe...
Marie, sorry to interrupt you. The reason why I mentioned policies is that, and also I mentioned the vice president, is that he's been going around mentioning that...
Yeah, but you're saying the vice president, he is part of government now.
Exactly.
So whatever the vice president is saying is based on the party's policies, which they are running based on their manifesto.
Good.
The manifesto they produced in 2020, or even way back from 2016 and revised in 2020.
Good. But he's taking credit for some of the digital policies that has been achieved by the government. He is taking personal credit. And I remember, I heard, and I was watching the president at the State of the Nation address, that the president mentioned and attributed to the success of that particular sector, digitalization. So, for
example, like digitalization and all these things, correct?
To him. And so on his campaign, he's not started, but he started unofficially. He's campaigning, and what he did at, is it Kwau or something like that? Is it Kwau? Yes. What they did at Kwau, if you listen to him and the other speakers, indirectly they are trying to inform their electorates, that look, this man is the one that has championed all these ABCD policies, and so if you give him the nod, he'll be able to do even much better. So in other words, they are playing a mind game with their people, that this is what he's done. And so that is why I'm asking about. I was asking about the policies.
That's normal. That is politics. You need to understand that it's
a mind game.
It's a hierarchical thing. So there's a hierarchy, and at the moment, the vice president. Okay, if we're to sort of place the vice president, Mr. Alan Cash and Kennedy Japan, of course it will be Dr. Bawumia first, then Mr. Alan Cash as cabinet minister, and then Honorable Kennedy Japan, who's just an ordinary member of parliament for now. Although he holds other positions in parliament, like he sits on committees like the defense committee, etc. He chairs it, I believe, and so on. So if Dr. Bawumia has implemented an aspect of the party's policy or government's policy, of course we're going to give him the credit for that. We cannot give that credit to Honorable Kennedy Japan. But what we can attribute to Honorable Kennedy Japan, a typical example before we come back to Honorable, is the one district, one factory. Those were, again, it was government's policy or the part of the MPP's main policies implemented or taken care of by Mr. Alan Cash. So again, we cannot attribute that to Dr. Bawumia. Do you see what I mean? Because everybody has been apportioned something, an aspect of the policy for them to take care of. And if they've been able to do it and they've done it well, then we give them that credit. It becomes a part of their legacy or their achievement whilst they were in government. Yeah. So digitalization goes to Dr. Baumia. One district, one factory goes to Mr. Alan Cash. Kennedy Japan has not been a part of cabinet. He hasn't been allocated an aspect of government policy to take care of. So what are we going to give to him? Other than the things that we've seen him do, things that we've seen him, things that we've seen him do as a private individual, which we've listed some of them. The work that he's doing as a member of parliament, which I believe he's done a great job, which is why his people keep electing him. As chair of the defense committee, etc., etc. Recently, we saw how he traveled up north. You know, there was some conflict up north between two ethnic groups.
Yeah.
We saw how he went there to go and meet with them and try and reach some consensus with them, etc. The Ashaiman case recently, we saw how he led a delegation to Ashaiman to once again go and meet with them, deliberate, negotiate, reach consensus with them as well. So these are all things we can attribute to him from what he's doing as a parliamentarian. In terms of policies, personally, I've heard him, and I think he's the only one I've heard, and I'm being very honest here, talk about tourism, for example, what he's going to use tourism to do to generate revenue for the country. And he's very elaborate on that. Typical example, I'm sure you're aware Ghana is the center of the earth.
Ghana is the center of the earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Longitude, latitude, 0 degrees is in Ghana, somewhere in the western region.
Right.
And he talks about how he can promote all these things, you know, to bring all these things together, promote them, to make tourism something big, something great in Ghana, to generate revenue for the country. Galamsey, again, he's been on it. So we know that, for example, if he becomes president, once again, it will be a case of continuity. Now, I know President Akufo-Addo has tried. It hasn't gone down so well with him. But it's a continuous thing. It's a continuous assessment.
We don't want to enter into those waters now. I mean,
we won't enter, but by all means, it will feature. So we need to talk about it.
Yes.
We need to talk about it. So by all means, Galamsey will be on there. But personally,
I've been signaled that we have less than 5 minutes, about 4 minutes.
No problem. Let me just round up very quickly.
Yeah.
Let me just finish my sentence here.
Okay.
I don't think we're at that stage yet where we need to be dwelling too much or so much on policies, Honorable Kennedy Japan's policies. Because like I said, he is not working in isolation. He is part of a political party. The policies will come from the party as an organization, as a body. So we have to wait. Everything is done in stages. At the moment, we're trying to get him elected as flag bearer. What we should be focused on is his character, who he is, what he's made up of. And so far, I can tell you the 3 pillars he stands for: patriotism, meaning he's very nationalistic. He thinks about the country before the political party that he's from. So everything he's going to be doing will be to ensure that Ghanaians benefit from what belongs to us, from our resources, from our finances, from everything. And that would cover education, all aspects of governance, or all aspects of human life. Let's just put it that way. And then honesty, a key aspect of the qualities of a good leader. We need a leader who is honest. For the most part, in this fourth republic, we haven't had honest leaders. We really haven't had honest leaders.
Are you sure we've not had honest leaders? Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president.
In this fourth republic. President Kufuor was all right.
So you mean,
I was still quite young then.
You mean the late former president Jerry John Rawlings and Professor Ivan Satamels?
I don't want to talk too much about President Rawlings because that's too deep.
I mean, there are excesses, but we are talking about honesty. You are talking about honesty here.
Yeah.
As a military person and somebody that if you're not close, you see the testimony and also the
why I don't want to bring President Rawlings into the equation is that we cannot talk about President. Look, a key aspect of politics is history.
Very important.
Yeah. So I cannot talk about President Rawlings without bringing in his past, which is why I don't want us to go there.
Now we are talking about
but aspects of his past were not honest.
Okay. Right.
Which resulted in some people losing their lives. And that's why I don't want us to go there.
I mean, that runs through the blood of both parties. If you're talking about the last elections, 8 people lost their lives. The last elections. But the president has never even mentioned this in any of his...
Absolutely. But I'm not here to be talking about President Akufo-Addo. I am here for Kennedy Japan.
Okay.
So if we're going to be singling them out in terms of honesty, then your point supports what I just said, that we haven't had honest leaders for the most part of the Fourth Republic.
Okay. Professor Evans Satamils, late.
You get what I mean?
Late professor.
If we are bringing President Rawlings and President Akufo-Addo into the equation comparatively,
they became very good friends, though.
Supporting my point that we haven't had honest leaders.
They became very good friends.
In the end, I know, right?
These politicians.
So for me, I would say President Kufuor, President Evans Atamils, but his presidency was short-lived.
But at least he had.
But he was an honest
3
man.
years. Yes.
Yeah, he was honest. For the very short period we had him, for the most part, I would say he was honest.
Yeah.
I mean, one key example that I remember was when he stormed the customs department unannounced.
Yes.
See, those are the types of leaders we are looking for.
Exactly.
And I see some of those traits in Honorable Kennedy Japan without a shadow of doubt.
Right.
Without a shadow of doubt.
Okay.
So I think honesty as well. And we see his honesty oftentimes come through when he's frustrated. People have been talking about his temperament. But anytime we've seen Honorable Kennedy Japan frustrated or angry, it's because he was standing against some type of systemic injustice.
No, you mentioned temperament. Let me read a message that has come through. Just okay. This coming from Barnes. Barnes on WhatsApp says that he says, "What would he do when he goes to the UN and he's frustrated? Is he going to flare up? What would he do when he goes to the UN and he's frustrated? Is he going to, in other words, is he going to get angry and start throwing tantrums?
What a question. Can you kindly ask that person for me? Has he not seen other world leaders throw papers and things left, right, and center before? Do we not see Boris Johnson always running his fingers through his hair when he's angry? What kind of a question? Why do we act as if we are saints, as if we are angels? Give us a break. Give the man a break.
Anyway, our time. There are a couple of messages, but anyway, let's wrap up. I'll read just one or two messages and then we'll
let me finish my final point on. I want people to really get this. The 3 main points: patriotism, he stands for the country; honesty, he's a very honest man; discipline. We are such a disorderly society. The Honorable Kennedy Japan will bring some discipline into the system.
Has he got the heart to? Has he got the heart to take all all the nonsense from his people?
But has he not been showing it?
It's totally different when you are president.
Discipline. He got his own arrested.
No, it's totally different when you're president. Your schedule alone will not get you into certain areas for you to be able. You understand?
Yes, but then we're looking at it from a very broad perspective.
Right.
The general consensus about the person is that he's a disciplined individual.
Yes.
That will translate it will come through in his governance. If somebody is a corrupt individual, it comes through in their governance, and we have seen it.
So he's not corrupt, you say?
Honorable Kennedy Japan is not. Why is he corrupt to you? Do you think he's corrupt?
To be quite honest, I mean, before election 2016, the president Nana Addo said, for him, he's not corrupt, and he's never going to be corrupt.
But we hadn't really seen anything. We hadn't really. You see, this is why I said.
But he was in parliament. He was a good charismatic leader that he was gearing people, organizing demonstrations.
My brother, it was all talk.
So
Nanado
what would be
man was
different
all
from
talk.
what would be
When
different?
it comes to Kennedy Japan, the
Yes.
point I'm trying to make is that when it comes to Kennedy Japan,
Yes.
he has exhibited it. We have seen it. In terms of discipline, for example, that I just gave you he got his own son arrested. When the police called him and said to him, "We have your son here," what did he? And he shared this story, so he said it so many times. What did he say to the police? "You have my son, put him behind bars." Do you see what I mean? So he has shown us, in terms of his honesty, his objectivity, we have seen it. Nanado's one was talk. I will do this, I will do that. We never saw it until he became president.
Right.
We only got to see it this past 7 years.
Okay.
Kennedy Japan hasn't been president yet, but we have already seen who he is as a person. Why would he change if he becomes president?
But you see, the reason why people are shocked and disappointed with this current government is the fact that the kind of things that the current president said that he would do, and he exhibited by going.
He's going. My brother, don't waste your breath. He is exiting. The man is exiting. He is going. Why should we worry about him anymore?
So you want us to try? You want the people of Ghana to try Honorable Kennedy Japan?
The people of Ghana have no choice but to elect somebody different next year. Whether it is Kennedy Japan, Mr. Boachie Japan, Mr. Kwabene Japan, Dr. Bawumia, President Mahama, the people of Ghana have no choice, because as long as we have elected to practice democracy, we will have to form government on the 7th of January 2025.
Okay.
So whether it is Kennedy Japan or not, they will have to choose somebody.
Right.
Now, we are presenting them with various different people.
Yeah.
And everybody is trying to speak for their candidate, trying to show the character of their candidate and sell their candidate. That's where we are at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm saying to them that forget about the NDC. President Mahama has nothing new to offer Ghana. So let's forget. I don't even want to dwell on the NDC. Let's just forget about them. Let's come back to the MPP. Yes, the MPP has had challenges. Yes, the MPP, some of us have, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I have called them all manner of names. Useless government, useless whatever. I have said everything I can say to make myself happy, because I haven't been happy with this administration. Doesn't mean the MPP is a bad political party.
Okay.
So what I'm saying to Ghanaians is that there are a new batch of people coming out from within the MPP. Dr. Bawumia, Mr. Alan Cash, Kennedy Japan, Mr. Kwabene Japan, Mr. Boachie Japan, etc., etc. You're going to have to make a choice from amongst these group of people. And I'm saying to you, the only reason why I eventually gave my support to Honorable Kennedy Japan is because Dr. Bawumia and Mr. Alan Cash have been a part of the economic management team.
Okay.
Personally, I am struggling internally. This is an internal battle for me, because I'm looking at the UK here where I live.
Yeah.
If Mr. Bawumia and Mr. Alan Cash were here, and as both of them being part of the economic management team had eventually led us to the IMF, especially where they knew the problems before they came into government. They are the very same people who labeled the previous president as incompetent. A few months ago, they were the very same people who, through their finance minister, told us we were not going to go to the IMF today, we were not going to go to the IMF tomorrow. So internally, I am struggling to wrap my head around how these very same people should be given the opportunity to lead the country. That is the only reason why I am now looking at the third alternative, who is Kennedy Japan, who hasn't been anywhere near the economy.
Okay.
And for the most part has been complaining about the way his own party has been handling issues. That tells us that he's a very honest man. That tells us that he understands what is going on. However, because he is nowhere near, they won't even give him the opportunity. They won't even listen to him.
Okay.
But if we should give him the nod and make him president, that one, now be in own territory, be that one. Then he will show us what he is made up of. And in showing us what he is made up of, what I'm saying is that We've already seen it. As a private individual, we have seen it. So for me, if Kennedy Japan comes and tells me that when he becomes president, he will create 1 million jobs, I will believe Kennedy Japan. Why? Because I have seen him as a private individual create over 7,000 jobs.
So you will not believe Dr. Bawumia or Alan if they come to tell you?
I will struggle a bit, and I'm being honest.
Is it because Mr. Alan Chamatin has not been in the helm of affairs. Yes, he's been part of the cabinet, but he's not the final decision maker.
Yes, but you see,
and Dr. Bawumia, more or less, it looks like he's not been in charge.
Well, that's what I don't want to delve into that. But in terms of, for example, if Dr. Bawumia tells me he's going to create jobs, would I believe him or not? Recently, he told us they've created over 2 million jobs, but that's under the guise of the entire government.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
This is the difference. That is under the guise of the entire government. Kennedy Japan's one is as a private individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, the person is telling you that when I become president, I will create jobs, 1 million jobs, say for example, in a year. I can give him the benefit of the doubt because I have seen him do it as a private individual. Dr. Bawumia says, when I come, I will create jobs in 1 year. Okay. How? You were able to do it when you were part of government. But as a private person, what have you done? Have we seen you create jobs? For example, the other day I was asking in one of my videos on Facebook sometime last week, I just put the question out there that even since Dr. Bawumia became vice president, does he have his own private foundation or something that we can say, even outside of being a vice president, these are the things Dr. Bawumia is doing? Have we heard anything like that? But with Kennedy Japan, we have.
Okay.
You see, so judging Dr. Bawumia, and this is where some people are having difficulties, because everything is going to be based on what he's done whilst he's been a part of this government. And so far, some of it hasn't been too good.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But as well, I think in drawing the curtain down on this conversation, I think Ghanaians, my hope and my prayer is that as a people, we will get to a point where we are able to think outside the box. Because for all you know, we could have a president in some trotro driver sitting somewhere. But because we've been programmed in a way that in order for somebody to become president, they need to be someone who speaks very good English, should have attended university in America or in England somewhere, Oxford, Harvard, Yale. They wear a suit and tie, they're clean shaven, bald headed, they have a handkerchief on their chest. That's the image we have in our heads.
They quote the Bible.
To get the image out.
They quote the Bible when they are making reading.
We need to get that image out and bring ourselves to a point where, for example, and that's why I keep quoting Ukraine, Zelensky, comedian, became president. Today, we are sitting in Ghana, quoting the war between Russia and Ukraine, using it as an excuse. Zelensky is under 40, isn't he? A comedian. Had the people of Ukraine thought like the way we think, so Zelensky will not be president today.
Bobokala can become president then.
Bobokala can be president. It is possible. Because the constitution of Ghana never said you should have attended Yale, you should be of this profession or that profession. The constitution of Ghana said you should be 40 or above and a person of sound mind. Full stop.
Okay.
Bobokala can be president.
That'll be amazing. I'll vote for him.
Thank you very much.
I'll be his campaign manager.
Fantastic. Come and join the train. So please help spread the word.
And I'll do some amazing fundraising for him as well.
Fantastic. You see, until we try this, and this is where, let me borrow President Mahama's let's turn President Mahama's slogan around. What did he say? We don't need an experiment, we need experience. Had we not experimented him, we wouldn't have known. Had we not experimented President Akufo-Addo, we wouldn't have known. It is not always about experience. We need to keep experimenting until we get the right person.
Okay. Right. That's the hard talker, Marie Amoakwa-Boadu, the human rights activist, gender activist, and GEMS Diaspora founder. And we've been discussing a lot about Ghana politics. I love it when it heats up because you get the best out of pressure. Pressure does good if you know how to manage it. And so, yes. And we've had a very fruitful discussion because we're not yelling at each other, not screaming or insulting, but hey, making sure that we get opinions, because God has not placed wisdom in one person's brains. He has spread it across humanity, and if you tap into it, nurture it, you get the best out of it. And so we've been discussing Ghana and talking most importantly about who becomes the next president. The candidature of Mr. Kennedy Japan. They have a middle name, they call him what? Akum Preku. What does that mean? I don't know. It sounds very, very nice, but I don't know what it means, but it sounds
Akum Preku. I don't know. Okay. I don't know what it means.
Okay. I know Akum.
Preku means instant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Akum Preku.
Okay.
Now maybe we can deduce. I don't know.
Yeah, Akum.
Somebody who's always
Akum. Anyway.
Akum Preku. I don't know.
Yeah.
Akum Preku.
Anyway, our doors are open. When he's ready for us to speak to him, we can give him some very good time, hard time, to break him to get what he has for the nation of Ghana, not just his party.
That time, that time will come. That time will come. But trust me, I think his good works are already speaking for him. And the Bible's, and so far, Nenumapa is what is speaking for him now.
Right.
We are not even sweating to sell him because his good works, his good deeds, what he has done for the nation. Let us not wait for God to call him before we come and say, oh, Honorable Ken, no, you need Papa, Honorable Ken, no, no, this is the time for you to show that love. This is the time for you to give him that honor, for you to let him know that he's done, he has served the nation and he has served the MPP. Give him the opportunity. Yeah.
There are some questions that if he was here, I would have asked him. He will laugh, but he will answer it because they are tough questions, and I know he can crack them. So we'll wait for that time, and we wish him well, and we pray that the best candidate will win, who God has ordained for the nation. Is who
May the best person win at the end of the day, and it's Honorable Kennedy Japan. Yeah. And can I just kindly say to Ghanaians before I go, please do not give up on the MPP.
Anyway,
the NDC is not the NDC is not an option.
That's an opinion. That's debatable. I mean, I don't know if I'll have the time because
it's not the alternative.
My time is over for almost 15 minutes, but I was going to read some of the comment. And as you're saying, the MPP is not the alternative. I think I was reading.
The NDC, not MPP. NDC.
Okay, I was reading through some of the comment, and they are like, no. Barnes came back. I think when he asked the first question, but anyway, because of time, the people have also an opinion that the MPP is not the best option for the nation because of what has happened. But excusitis is a disease for
so
people
they're
that
trying to
give
tell us the NDC is the best option for the nation. Really, is that what they're saying?
I think if
the best option, really?
if you've gone to, you mentioned that these guys have been in the NDC have been in power that much longer than the MPP, and there's a saying that Sankofa Yenchi.
Na sankofa ye nchi na se sankofa ne nye papa na wo sankofa are we okay?
You'll be better off managing the sankofa than the one that has come to smile with you but killing you behind or stabbing you behind.
Please.
Anyway.
Please. Come on, Ghana for unbelievable.
Anyway, let me see if I can do one or two of the comments quickly. Thank you, Solomon. Sotlo. Okay, Solomon. Apostle Solomon. Thank you for joining us as well. It says, what has Honorable Kennedy done about the failing MPP, or it's only when he comes into power that he can do something? Condemning alone isn't enough. What change has he caused? We don't need talkers, we need action-based leaders.
Honorable Kennedy, that person who sent that comment, what have they done for Ghana? Can they tell us what they've done for Ghana as an individual?
They are teachers. He's a teacher, so definitely he's contributing to the nation building and grooming the upcoming generation.
Contributed more.
We can't overlook teachers. No, I mean for that. Teachers are key to nation development. Teachers are key to nation development. So that one, I think, is a touch not area, because when it comes to teachers and farmers, I've also taught before. We will go there. So even on top of teaching. Even on top of teaching, there are other things that even me as a citizen here in the UK, there are things I'm doing in Ghana. So I'm asking them, what have they done as a private individual for the country? Because some of these we've listed about Honorable Kennedy Japan, he's done them as a private individual, not even as a member of parliament. He's done them as a private individual. Let us not give these people a sense of entitlement, please. I believe
let's not give them a sense of entitlement. What has he done for his country? Somebody wants to put themselves forward to lead the country. Why won't this person who's commenting put themselves up to lead the country?
I don't think they are there yet.
Tell him to put himself forward so that we can throw our weight behind him.
Sean is watching. Frederick Asiedu.
Timothy support you.
Timothy Dankwa says you don't know what you are saying. Okay, that's a reply to Solomon. Okay. Anyway, I have to go.
Look, my brother, we need to get to a point where
I have to go.
If you think the thing is not good, you too put yourself forward.
Oh, I mean,
personally, to some of the people who are commenting, let's put NDC MPP aside. We are all Ghanaians. Me, as I'm seated here, I know I cannot be president, not now. So I'm not going to put myself.
But you're entitled to your opinion. So the person is also entitled to his opinion.
If they think they can do it, they should put themselves forward.
No, but they are entitled to the opinion, just as you are entitled to your opinion.
I'm entitled to my opinion, but I'm doing something about the problem.
And he is also bringing up the next generation as a teacher.
Let them tell us what they are doing as private individuals.
That is what I'm saying.
Even I can sit here now and list a whole bunch of things I'm doing in Ghana now as a private citizen sitting somewhere.
You see,
outside of the teaching, what are they also doing to help the country?
You know, my analogy is that the body, the human body, one hair, when one hair comes out, there's a tiny pain that you feel. So we cannot say one hair is not important as to the nail or the eyes or the fingers or the foot or the leg.
So when you come, acknowledge what Honorable Ken has done. Tell us that, Papa no why
this is what once again.
Just come and start condemning him.
Once again, this is what he said. What has he said? What has Honorable Kennedy done about the failing MPP? Or it's only when he comes into power that he can do something. Condemning alone isn't enough. What change has he caused? We don't need talking.
The change he has caused is the awareness.
Okay.
When something is going on in his own political party and he's bold enough to come out, regardless of all the backlash and everything, he's still courageous enough to come out and speak against it.
Okay.
That is
okay. Finally, I have to go. I mean, I've been signaled so many times, but let me say that. let me say that. Thank you so much. As I said, we wish him well. We wish Honorable Kennedy Japan well, and the best. God ordained. Let me use it that way. Not just the best, but the God ordained leader for the MPP. We pray that will be elected, and it will be peaceful.
Thank you.
We hope.
Let me say a big thank you to you as well, and to your entire production team. I appreciate the opportunity, and the end of the day, it's for the motherland. So thank you so much.
We thank God, and we'll be talking a couple of for the next couple of weeks. Some more politics. The NDC goes to the polls.
Next month, isn't it?
On the 13th.
On the 13th, yeah.
We'll be doing.
We wish them all the best.
We'll be doing some few interviews as well. So watch out. The version of the MPP, part of the MPP, has been discussed, and I believe that what you can read between the good and the bad, wrong and right. And so a big thank you. I don't know, but WhatsApp, there are a couple of messages. Please bear with me. I'm sorry, I might not be able to read all of them.
Tell them I said they should all just type break the 8. It's as simple as that. They should stop typing plenty. They should just type
from 4 more to break the 8. Hey.
I said 4 more is finished. That was somebody's era. That's over and done with now. We are moving into a new era. The new era is break the 8. Yeah.
The people of Ghana will judge. They'll be the best judge. We thank God. Anyway, thank you, and thank you for your contributions, your comment. We don't open the phone lines. No. We don't, because people come on, they waste a lot of time. We don't have the luxury of time. I mean, somewhere on the continent of Africa, they will open the phone line for hours. People calling, but we don't. So we believe that if you send us a message, we'll create that time, read it out. You can send us a voice note, we'll play it. That's okay than opening the phone line. So thank you for watching. I know people are saying I've not read their messages, but I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm being pushed out. Next program needs to happen. But thank you for all your contributions on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Thank you, Periscope. Thank you, and thank you. On, I believe not this Thursday, but next week Thursday, we have another powerful time. We're talking about women in real estate in Africa, the African woman in real estate, and it's going to be another powerful time. So make a date with us, not this week, but the following. And I believe that you're going to learn a lot. So it's on the Property Hour Show this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. where we talk about everything property. Make a date with us. And also next week, I believe that we'll be talking politics. Join us, and your life is never going to be the same. We're going to dance and praise God as we wrap up for a couple of minutes. We've got about 4 minutes that we've been given. So we're going to dance. Thank you so much, Marie, and have and happy birthday to my brother, Mr. Eric Amoakwa-Boadu. He celebrated his birthday, I think 3 days ago.
Yeah, on the 26th. Yeah.
26th. Yeah. And we wish him all the best and God's blessings, and may the Lord strengthen and grant him great grace and prosperity with good health. And so thank you.
Thank
God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right then.
God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So you heard our guest, Maria Amoakwa-Boadu. And it's been good. And let me say a big thank you to all all the comments. Thank you. The ones that I could not read, please forgive me. Our time is up. Let me give you this tune too. You can maybe use it for your Sunday dance, and thank God for another day that He has made. and I believe that you've enjoyed this session. You've gotten a lot out of it, and hey, what Ghana needs you. We need to make a decision, but most importantly, it's got to do with the new patriotic party. New patriotic party are the ones that are going to make that decision. And so let me say thank you to all our sponsors. Let me get this tune for you. Just hold on for me. I'll be giving you. Oh yeah. Okay. So let me say a big thank you to Keris Furniture. They are based on two continents, in Ghana, on the continent of Africa, and also in Atlanta, Georgia, the Americas. And if you're looking for furniture, interior decor, look no further. Is Keris Furniture. These guys will be able to deliver to your doorstep. From Caracas to Achimbegro, look no further. They'll be able to deliver. You can connect with them. Keris, that's K-H-A-R-I-S. That's Keris Furniture, and they'll be able to deliver to your doorstep. And let me also say a big thank you to Mayor Associate. From conception to completion, these guys will be able to take that responsibility of your project, housing, in other words, property or real estate, private or commercial, and build on your behalf with a trustworthy system for you to have value for money, and for them to also build in the shortest possible time for you with a professional touch. So Mia Associate, you can connect with them via 0208 133 2257. That's 0208 133 2257. And let me say also a big thank you to M&M Concept. Amazing global company. Katie and the team, I salute you, and I thank God for your life, for the great work you're doing. Let me say a big thank you to you. And if you're looking for a graphic designer, a graphic design company that will do all the works or the designs for you, from pull-up banners, t-shirts, and all merchandise, look no further. All the funeral printouts and everything, look no further. It's M&M Concept, and you get a 15% discount if you mention Star Radio UK. So let me say also that CIG Property, that's www.cigpropertyuk.com. That's www.cigpropertyuk.com. These guys will be able to take you through the journey of property, in your property, whether you want to get into the business or whether you want to invest in Africa or in the UK. Look no further. They will be able to give you value for money. And I'm trying to get you the tune so that you can have a good evening with this sound. You will enjoy it. You will have a blast with it. Just bear me. And so CIG Properties, when you're looking for mortgages, or if you're looking for investment, or looking to sell your property, it's cigpropertyuk.com. They are experienced professionals in the industry, and they'll be able to give you value for money. Forgive me for trying to focus on the sound. Let me do this. Okay, I think I've got it. Is it? Come on. As I wrap up, let me say a big shout out to okay. As I wrap up, let me say a big shout out to all the April borns. You know what? If you're born in April, oh man, you're blessed and you're anointed. You have a special place in the heart of God. You know why? Because when the April borns are the people that they made it happen, because Christ was nailed on the cross in April, and also the other people will be making all kinds of noise, but they have a choice. They can change their birth month. It's allowed. You can change it. If people can change their whatever they call, you can change it. I'm just looking for this song that I want you to enjoy it. I want you to just dance in his presence and shout and praise him. I don't know why I set it up, but I don't know what is happening. Oh, come on. God has been good. God has been good. On the 30th of I've got it. Let's do this. Now, on the 30th of April 2023, let me say that, the energy is up again. Oh, God has been good.
My God is good. Oh.
Hey, my God is good. Oh. My time is up. I have to go, but I want you to enjoy this piece.
My God is.
This goes to all the April borns. Happy birthday. Come on, Aunt Mary, Rehoboth City Church, God bless you. Happy belated birthday.
And I will sing my praise unto you, my
Elder Joe as well.
And I will shout
all the April bonds. Have a blast.
you have been my help from now to ever.
Amicus Emmanuel, God bless you. The anointed.
My God is good.
The anointed Elton John of Rehoboth. Oh, did I say Elton? No. The anointed Don Moore of Rehoboth City Church. God bless you. Amicus.
Praise unto you, my Lord.
Let's do this. Come on. I salute you, Apostle Kenneth Esiama. God bless you. We thank God for safe journeys back, and also a befitting burial for Mommy. God bless you, man, and the entire family. I salute all the TTC men, the anointed men and women of God. Apostle Julius Samoa, I salute Apostle Atabedu Senior, Apostle Emmanuel Dako, Apostle Robert Sari, Apostle Solomon Akole, Apostle Grace Kisira.
Come on, you know this. Everything I've done,
Apostle Bernard Bossman. Oh, double this. Before we cross over into the 1st of May, the month of May, everything is possible. You can receive a double honor. You can receive a double blessing. You can receive double anointing, double breakthrough. If you believe, all things are possible with God. Without Him, nothing is possible. Come on, let's dance to the Lord as I wrap up now. And to Prophetess Dr. Lillian Achim, God bless you. Mama Justine, Chris Moore, Louie, Joe and Ishra, God bless you. Mr. and Mrs. Amoakwa, Kofi Ama, Ajua, all the Amoakwas. Nana Yapia Bossman, May will be brutal. Tarimika, Pami Oti Yapia Bossman, more grace and power. I'm out. A big shout out to you, my one and only, my father in the Lord, my bishop on tour. My bishop, Papa, I salute you and Mommy. Bishop Franco Fosuapia, All Nations Caris House, Atlanta, Georgia, and Reverend Mrs. Mary Fosuapia. I love and appreciate you both, and more blessings and grace to you. He's the Most High God. I wish I started with this, but I have to go. My producer is on my neck. I've got to go. You know, enjoy this peace and God bless. No stress, nothing less. Tomorrow is a holiday. Spend time in the presence of God. Let God be your guide. Connect to His Word. Spend time in the Word. Everything is possible. Don't give up until God says so. You see, even God, when God says it is over, if you can persist with faith and be resolute, you know Hezekiah changed the mind of God. He reversed his own statement. So with God, all things are possible. When even God says no, you can dare Him with His word, via His word, because His word is a law. If He has done it before, He can repeat it for you. Don't give up for anybody. Don't give up for somebody to bury you. You can choose when to die, because with God all things are possible. You will not die with that sickness. You will not die because they've written you off. You will not die because somebody has said you will see. Those that said you will bury them and attend their funeral and pay even that and so a body for them. God bless you and God keep you, and may His face shine upon you. This week will be the best week as we enter into May. Everything that is possible says that may God bless you, may God honor you, may God open doors for you, and may God shut doors that are the enemy's doors, and may God give you victory over your adversaries and give you favor to persist and for you to thrive and for you to become that which God has made you to be. You will laugh again. You'll be the blessed, and you begin to bless others in the name of Jesus. May the Lord honor you, and may grace be released unto you. Thank you, and have a blessed evening, blessed night. I salute you all. Forgive me if I have not mentioned your name. I'm super excited in the presence of God. I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. God bless, and nothing less. I'm KB Bossman. Shalom.
God is good, oh. My God is good, oh. My God is good, oh. Somebody clap those hands, go.
Thanks for listening.
In the morning when I wake up, and I will sing my praise unto you, my
Thanks for
Lord.
listening.
And I will shout and dance.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
Hey, my God is good.
The best radio show.
My God is good.
This is Star Radio UK.
In the morning when I wake up, and I will sing my praise unto you, my Lord.
Sit back, relax.
And I will shout and dance to you, for you have been my help another level. Hey, my God is good. Oh. My God is good. Oh. Hey, my God is good. Oh. Sing it again. My God is good. Hey, my God is good. Oh. My God is good. Hey, my
work,
At home.
on your smartphone. Thanks for listening.
Sit back. Relax.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it